Hello, and welcome to Podcast for English. My name is Linda. I'm really happy you're here today. This channel is for people who want to learn English in a simple and natural way. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to speak fast. You don't need to understand every word. You only need to listen. You can listen while you rest. You can listen while you work. You can listen while you live your daily life. Take a deep breath, relax your body, clear your mind. Now, let's begin today's English lesson together. In today's podcast, we are talking about English. Not English as a subject, not English as a task, but English as part of your daily routine. Today's idea is simple. English can be part of your daily routine. Many people believe learning English needs special time. They think, I must study, I must sit down, I must focus hard. This belief makes English feel heavy. But daily routines are already there. You wake up, you get ready, you go to work, you eat, you rest, you sleep. These routines happen every day, and English can live inside them. You do not need to create a new life. You only need to gently add English to the life you already have. This episode is for people who feel busy. It is for people who feel tired. It is for people who want progress without pressure. English does not need to interrupt your routine. It can move with your routine. In this podcast, we will talk about how routines support learning, why small daily habits matter, and how English becomes natural when it appears every day. You do not need a perfect plan. You need a simple connection. As you listen, do not think about studying. Just think about your day, because your day is already happening. And English can quietly be part of it. Routines make learning easier, not harder, not heavier, easier. A routine is something you already do. You do not think, you do not decide, you do not prepare, you simply do it. This is powerful because learning needs less thinking, not more. When English becomes part of a routine, it stops feeling like an extra task. It feels normal. Normal things do not create resistance. Resistance is what makes learning hard. Routines remove resistance. When you wake up, you already have a pattern. When you eat, you already have a habit. When you rest, you already have a rhythm. English can join these moments, not as a focus, but as a background. This background presence is important because the brain learns through repetition. Routines repeat daily, weekly, naturally. When English appears inside a routine, it repeats automatically. You do not need to remember. You do not need to plan. Repetition happens because life happens. This is natural learning. Routines also reduce pressure. You are not trying to make progress. You are just following your day. Progress happens without effort. This removes stress. Stress blocks learning. Calm routines open the brain. An open brain absorbs language more easily. Another reason routines help learning is timing. The brain likes predictability. It feels safe when it knows what comes next. Safety supports learning. Routines provide safety. English inside routines feels safe too. This safety reduces fear. You are not afraid of not understanding. You know English will come again tomorrow. This trust keeps learning alive. Routines also protect energy. You do not need extra motivation. You do not need strong discipline. You use existing energy. This makes learning sustainable. Sustainable learning lasts, and learning that lasts always wins. When English becomes part of your routine, learning stops feeling like work. It becomes part of living. And living is something you already know how to do. That is why routines make learning easier and more natural. You already have habits, many habits. You wake up, you brush your teeth, you drink water, you check your phone, you leave the house, you come back home. These habits happen automatically. You do not question them. This is the power of habits. When English attaches to a habit, learning becomes automatic too. You do not need a reminder. You do not need a plan. You simply follow what you already do. The key is not adding a new habit. The key is linking English to an existing one. This is called attachment. For example, when you brush your teeth, you can listen. 2 minutes, 3 minutes. This time it already exists. When you drink coffee, you can listen again. When you walk, English can walk with you. These small attachments do not feel heavy. They feel natural. Another important point is consistency. Habits repeat every day. When English attaches to a repeating habit, English repeats too. This repetition is powerful. It does not feel forced. It feels normal. The brain loves normal. Normal things do not trigger stress. Stress blocks learning. Attachment avoids stress. Another reason habit attachment works is predictability. The brain likes knowing what happens next. When English appears at the same time each day, the brain prepares for it. Prepared brains learn faster. Habits also reduce decision making. You do not ask, when should I study? You do not ask, what should I do today? The habit decides. This saves mental energy. Saved energy helps learning continue. Another advantage of attachment is emotional safety. You are not challenging yourself. You are not testing yourself. You are simply listening. This removes fear. Fear slows progress. Safe learning moves forward quietly. Habits also survive busy days. Even when life is full, habits remain. You still brush your teeth, you still eat, you still walk. English stays with them. This means learning does not stop on busy days. It adapts. Attachment also prevents burnout. You are not forcing effort. You are using existing behavior. This makes learning sustainable. Over time, these small attachments create something big. English becomes expected. Not special, not heavy, just part of the day. When English becomes part of what you already do, learning feels easy. Not because English is easy, but because the system is. This is how you attach English to habits you already have. Quietly, naturally, every day. Life gets busy. This is normal. Busy days do not mean learning must stop, but learning without routine often stops when life gets busy because it depends on extra time. Extra time disappears quickly. Routine-based learning is different. It does not wait for free time. It lives inside the day. When English is part of a routine, it survives busy life. Because routines survive busy life. You may be tired, you may be stressed, you may be distracted, but you still follow routines. You still wake up, you still eat, you still move through the day. English moves with you. Routine-based learning does not require decisions. You do not ask, "Should I study today?" The routine already answers. This removes friction. Friction is what stops learning on busy days. Another reason routine-based learning survives is energy. Busy life drains energy. Heavy study needs energy. Light routines do not. Routine-based English uses very little energy. You are not focusing hard, you are not analyzing. You are simply listening. Low-energy learning is sustainable. High-energy learning breaks easily. Routine-based learning also reduces guilt. When life is busy, people often feel behind. They feel they failed. This guilt pushes them away from learning. Routines remove guilt. You did not skip. You simply followed your day. English was there. This keeps confidence alive. Busy life also changes priorities. Some days, English is not important. This is okay. Routine-based learning does not compete for importance. It stays quietly present. Presence is more powerful than priority because presence does not demand attention. It simply exists. Another benefit of routine-based learning is stability. Life changes, schedules change, but routines adapt. You may wake up later, you may eat at a different time, but you still wake up. You still eat. English adapts with them. This flexibility keeps learning alive. Over time, routine-based learning creates trust. You trust the process. You stop worrying about missing days. You know English will return tomorrow. This trust reduces anxiety. And reduced anxiety supports learning. This is why routine-based learning survives busy life. Not because it is strong, but because it is quiet. And quiet systems last the longest. Life gets busy. This is normal. Busy days do not mean learning must stop. But learning without routine often stops when life gets busy. Because it depends on extra time disappears quickly. Routine-based learning is different. It does not wait for free time. It lives inside the day. When English is part of a routine, it survives busy life. Because routines survive busy life. You may be tired, you may be stressed, you may be distracted, but you still follow routines. You still wake up, you still eat. You still move through the day. English moves with you. Routine-based learning does not require decisions. You do not ask, "Should I study today?" The routine already answers. This removes friction. Friction is what stops learning on busy days. Another reason routine-based learning survives is energy. Busy life drains energy. Heavy study needs energy. Light routines do not. Routine-based English uses very little energy. You are not focusing hard. You are not analyzing. You are simply listening. Low-energy learning is sustainable. High-energy learning breaks easily. Routine-based learning also reduces guilt. When life is busy, people often feel behind. They feel they failed. This guilt pushes them away from learning. Routines remove guilt. You did not skip. You simply followed your day. English was there. This keeps confidence alive. Busy life also changes priorities. Some days English is not important. This is okay. Routine-based learning does not compete for importance. It stays quietly present. Presence is more powerful than priority. Because presence does not demand attention, it simply exists. Another benefit of routine-based learning is stability. Life changes, schedules change, but routines adapt. You may wake up later, you may eat at a different time, but you still wake up. You still eat. English adapts with them. This flexibility keeps learning alive. Over time, routine-based learning creates trust. You trust the process. You stop worrying about missing days. You know English will return tomorrow. This trust reduces anxiety, and reduced anxiety supports learning. This is why routine-based learning survives busy life. Not because it is strong, but because it is quiet. And quiet systems last the longest. Learning English often feels stressful, not because English is hard, but because learning feels uncertain. You do not know if you are doing enough. You do not know if you are doing it right. This uncertainty creates stress. Routines remove uncertainty. When English appears at the same time each day, the brain relaxes. It knows what to expect. Expectation creates safety. Safety reduces stress. When learning feels safe, the brain opens. An open brain learns better. Routines also remove decision pressure. You do not ask, "When should I learn? What should I do today?" The routine answers for you. Fewer decisions mean less mental load. Less mental load means more calm. Calm supports learning. Routine-based learning also removes fear of failure. You are not testing yourself. You are not measuring progress. You are simply following a pattern. Patterns do not judge. They repeat. This repetition creates confidence. Confidence grows without effort. Another reason routines reduce stress is predictability. Unpredictable learning creates tension. Predictable learning creates comfort. When English feels predictable, it stops feeling threatening. It feels familiar. Familiar things do not scare the brain. Routines also protect your emotional energy. You are not pushing yourself. You are not forcing focus. You are allowing English to be present. Allowing is gentle. Gentle learning lasts longer. Stressful learning often leads to quitting. Safe learning leads to continuation. Another important point is emotional trust. When you follow a routine, you trust that learning is happening. You do not check constantly. You do not worry. This trust reduces anxiety. Reduced anxiety supports memory. Memory grows better in calm conditions. Over time, routine-based English changes your emotional relationship with learning. English no longer feels heavy. It feels normal. Normal things do not cause stress. They fit. And when English fits your day, learning feels safe. Safe learning is strong learning because it continues day after day without fear, without pressure, without stress. Low energy days are part of life. Some days you feel tired. Some days your mind feels heavy. Some days you do not want to do anything extra. This is normal. Learning that depends on energy often stops on these days. But routine-based learning does not, because routines do not ask how you feel. They simply happen. When English is part of a routine, it appears even on low energy days, not as effort, as presence. On low energy days, you do not need to focus. You do not need to try. English can stay in the background, a familiar voice, a calm sound, a known rhythm. This is enough. Keeping English alive does not mean making progress today. It means not disconnecting. Connection is the goal on low energy days. Routine-based English keeps that connection. You may not notice learning, but learning is still happening. The brain is still hearing. It is still recognizing. It is still absorbing. Low energy days are not wasted days. They are maintenance days. Maintenance keeps habits alive. Without maintenance, habits fade. Routines provide automatic maintenance. You do not decide to maintain. You simply follow the day. Another reason routines help on low energy days is kindness. You do not blame yourself. You do not say, I failed today. You say, I followed my routine. This kindness protects motivation. Motivation does not need to be high. It only needs to not be damaged. Routines protect it. Routine-based learning also prevents quitting. Many people quit after low-energy days. They feel behind. They feel discouraged. Routines remove this feeling. You did not stop. English was still there, even quietly. Over time, this consistency creates trust. You trust yourself to return. You trust the process. This trust is powerful because trust keeps learning alive. Low energy days will come again. This is life. When English survives those days, learning becomes stable. And stable learning always grows. Slowly, quietly, without pressure. That is how routines keep English alive. Even when your energy is low, daily routines do not change quickly. They repeat. They stay. They return. And because they return, they teach. When English lives inside your daily routine, the brain stops seeing it as something new. It becomes familiar. Familiar things feel safe. Safe things become natural. At first, English feels separate. It feels like a task. It feels like effort. It feels like learning. But routines remove this feeling. When English appears every day without pressure, the brain accepts it. Not as study, as part of life. Daily routines also create rhythm. Morning, afternoon, evening. English appears in the same rhythm. This rhythm teaches the brain when to listen. The brain prepares. Prepared brains learn more easily. Over time, you notice something. You understand without trying. You recognize without translating. You respond without planning. These moments feel small, but they are signs. Signs that English is becoming a skill, not knowledge. Skill is different. Skill is automatic. Skill is calm. Skill does not require effort. Daily routines build skill because they remove choice. You do not ask, "Should I learn today?" You simply live. And English is there. Living with English is powerful because language was made for life, not for books, not for tests, for daily use. Daily routines also teach patience. You stop rushing. You stop expecting big changes. You trust the process. This trust allows learning to deepen. Over weeks and months, English changes place. It moves from outside you to inside you. It becomes part of how you think, part of how you listen, part of how you feel. This change does not feel dramatic. It feels normal, and normal is the goal. When English becomes normal, it becomes usable. When it becomes usable, it becomes real. Daily routines do not push English into your life. They invite it. And invited learning stays quietly, naturally, every day. This is how English becomes a natural skill. By living inside your routine. You've reached the end of today's episode. Before you leave, I want you to remember one simple thing. You did something good for yourself today. You listened. You stayed. You didn't give up. And that matters. Learning English is not about being fast. It is not about being perfect. It is about showing up again and again. Some days will feel easy. Some days will feel hard. Both are normal. Progress does not always feel exciting. Sometimes it feels quiet. Sometimes you don't notice it at all. But learning is still happening. Every minute you listen, your ears are learning new sounds. Your mind is learning new patterns. Your confidence is growing, even if you cannot see it yet. You don't need to push yourself. You don't need to compare yourself to others. You are on your own path, and your pace is enough. Let English be part of your daily life. Listen while you rest. Listen while you work. Listen while you live your normal day. If this episode helped you feel calmer, more focused, or more motivated, then your time here was well spent. Come back when you can. come back when you need a quiet space to learn. My name is Linda, and this is Podcast for English. Thank you for learning with me. Until next time, keep going and never give up. Believe in yourself, because you are stronger than you think.